Hi, my name is Christine Cole. I'm 32, a financial analyst in Boise, Idaho. Thanksgiving was supposed to feel warm, familiar, safe. Instead, my parents handed me a small velvet box. Inside was a bank notice for my brother's $250,000 debt. Dad's eyes hardened. "You'll cover this," he said like it was law. I said no. Red wine hit my face, cold and stinging. Mom's voice was ice. "Get out!" I stared at people who called me daughter. Have you ever learned your worth in one violent second? Tell me in the comments, what would you have done? That night, I wasn't family. I was their checkbook. I wake early in Boise, chasing silence before the day begins. My apartment is small, but mine, hardwood floors and city lights. I built this space with long nights, skipped vacations, and relentless discipline. People call me responsible like it's praise, but it always stings. Growing up, that word was a weight, not a gift. My brother got spotlights, trophies, excuses tailored to his failures. I got silence, report cards, and the burden of fixing things. At 14, I learned saving wasn't safety. It was their expectation. "Christine will handle it," they'd say, and my chest caved in. Holidays were hugs that lasted 1 second too short. Praise sounded like paperwork, practical, useful, never adored. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I mapped trails in Sawtooth. I wanted pine air, fire smoke, and stars cutting the dark. Then Mom's text arrived. "Come home, we miss you." My chest tightened, memory fighting suspicion. Sarah, my closest friend, warned me softly. "They only call when they want something. Don't fall for it." I laughed it off, but her words left bruises inside. Still, I craved the kitchen light and apple pie. I wanted Dad's corny jokes, the ones that made me groan. I wanted Mom to see me, not my bank account. Hope is a trap when history wears a smile. Still, I wrapped wine for Dad and a scarf for Mom. I chose a sweater that felt like me, not perfection. On the drive to Idaho Falls, I practiced forgiveness. I rehearsed small talk and swallowed the old hurts whole. The house smelled like childhood, and I let myself believe. But their questions circled jobs, promotions, and savings. Not love, not me, just numbers to exploit. I should have trusted my doubts instead of their bright smiles. I pulled into Idaho Falls under a sky of brittle gray. The driveway looked the same, but my pulse ran uneven. I carried wine, a scarf, a book bridging years of silence. Dad's hug was tight, louder than I remembered, almost theatrical. Mom's smile stretched too wide. Her voice rehearsed, guiding me inside. The house smelled of roasted turkey and cinnamon, perfectly staged nostalgia. My brother grinned by the fireplace, arm draped around his wife. "Hey sis," he said like old times we never had. Her smile was polite. Her eyes weighed me like numbers. I handed out gifts. Thanks returned, hollow, perfectly on script. The table gleamed. Golden turkey, mashed potatoes, almonds on green beans. I used to love this spread. The clatter, Dad's jokes. For a moment, I let the memory reach for me. But unease threaded the air like smoke under a door. Mom leaned too close, asking about my job and savings. Casual tone, deliberate blade. I felt the pressure points. "You're doing so well," she said, eyes avoiding mine. Dad nodded too quickly. Like waiting for a cue, I steered to harmless ground. Boise restaurants, weekend hikes, new trails. They dragged it back. Promotions, retirement plans, investment strategy, liquidity. My brother bragged about his real estate project. A game changer. His grin was wide. His eyes twitched, selling to himself. My sister-in-law chimed in. Praise sugared with calculation, not affection. "You must have a nice nest egg by now," she said. The words were soft. The math behind them was sharp. I forced a laugh. My stomach tightened with every glance. Sarah's warning whispered, "They call when they need you." I wanted to argue with her voice in my head. Instead, I counted forks and knives, avoiding their eyes. The fireplace glowed, but the room felt windowless and cold. Whatever this was, it wasn't family. It was preparation. Grandpa sat near the window, quiet, hands folded over cane. He watched small things. Who reached first? Who avoided questions longest? When Dad laughed too hard, Grandpa's eyebrows tugged together. When Mom praised me, his gaze dropped to her knuckles. He caught me looking. His eyes flashed a careful warning. Not fear exactly, more like don't ignore the pattern again. I sipped water, tasting metal, counting heartbeats between questions. My brother's voice rose when money circled back to me. My sister-in-law's smile held, but her jaw set harder. I measured exits without meaning to. The hall, the porch. Hope kept knocking. Memory kept deadbolting the door. The turkey cooled while their plans warmed around me. I felt like inventory, not kin, waiting to be tallied. The room applauded my discipline, not my existence or peace. Applause sounds different when it's tied to your balance. I set my napkin down and finally named it bait. Whatever they wanted, it wasn't Thanksgiving. It was me on the menu. After dinner, we moved to the living room for gifts. The fireplace popped softly. The air felt rehearsed and dense. Mom handed me a small velvet box with careful hands. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Dad's jaw worked silently. I expected something simple, maybe a locket, something safe. Inside lay a folded paper, edges crisp, lettering official. A bank notice. My brother owed $250,000, past due. What is this? I asked, my voice smaller than usual. Dad leaned forward. Your brother's debt. You'll cover it, he said. Not a question. Not a plea. A decision already made. I looked at my brother. His grin had turned to concrete. My sister-in-law held his arm, face blank, shoulders rigid. Why me? I asked, fingers steadying the paper in place. Mom softened her voice, the way she does before a push. You're doing so well. This is what families do, sweetheart. I can't fix this, I said, tasting metal in my mouth. My sister-in-law's eyes flicked bright, then cooled like glass. I work at the bank, she said, tone almost bored. I saw your savings, $700,000. You can afford it. The words knocked the legs out from under me. She'd reached into my privacy like opening a cabinet. Years of budgets and sacrifices, weaponized against me. I folded the notice and set it on my lap. This is his debt, I said. It isn't mine to carry. My brother's voice sharpened. Come on, sis, it's just money. It's family, Mom added, the words snapping like a trap. You've got the means, Dad said. What kind of daughter refuses? The question wasn't a question. It was a verdict. I'm not paying, I said. Each word clicked like a lock. Dad rose, his chair scraped like a blade across tile. He gripped a red glass. The stem squealed in his hand. You ungrateful child, he hissed, eyes burning. Wine flashed, cold and sticky, across my face and neck. Gasps snapped. My blouse bled red under the lamplight. Mom stood. If you won't help your brother, leave, she said. The sentence fell clean, surgical, rehearsed in another room. I wiped my face, sleeves shaking, heart pounding against ribs. I looked at each of them and met nobody there. I won't be your solution, I said, reaching for my coat. My brother half rose, then shrank under the silence. My sister-in-law's mouth pinched. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Grandpa watched from the corner, gaze steady, something coiled. I stepped toward the door. The fireplace cracked behind me. Cinnamon turned to smoke in my throat. Outside, the night held its breath as the door shut. I thought the worst was over, until the truth forced its way out. The living room sagged under silence after I walked out. Grandpa rose slowly, palm on his cane, eyes sharp as frost. Dad stared into the fireplace like it might swallow his shame. Mom's hands trembled, then smoothed flat, rehearsing another version of care. My brother's jaw worked, his charm stripped bare. My sister-in-law crossed her arms, chin high, banker with secrets. I've had enough, Grandpa said, voice low, steady, unforgiving. You threw wine at your daughter to cover a liar's mess. His cane tapped once, a gavel on the hardwood floor. That debt isn't a startup, he continued. It's casinos, cars, trips. He lifted statements from the family account, pages rattling like evidence. Withdrawals to Nevada, a BMW, flights to Paris, $250. He turned to Dad. And you helped hide it. You pressured her. Dad's mouth opened, then shut, words grinding to dust. Mom whispered, please. But it wasn't for truth, only for silence. Grandpa faced my brother, eyes burning with years of disappointment. You aimed Christine like a tool at your debt. You let her carry it. My sister-in-law stiffened. I was protecting family. No, he snapped. You were counting someone else's money. Then he dialed my number, hands steady. Halfway to Boise, my phone hummed on the console. I pulled over and answered, breath uneven. Christine, he said softer. You deserve truth, not their play. Casinos, the car, the Paris flights, he laid them bare. He'd overheard the kitchen script, seen the withdrawals timed with Mom's smiles. I'm sorry I stayed quiet too long, he said. The apology cut deeper than Dad's whine ever could. It was the first adult choosing me over convenience. Thank you, I whispered. I won't be their solution anymore. Back in that room, Grandpa's voice stayed iron. You will apologize, he told Dad. You will fix this. You will leave Christine out of your schemes forever. Silence answered, thick with guilt and shrinking pride. My brother tried. We're family. Grandpa's reply slammed down. Then act like it. By morning, Aunt Martha and Uncle Stephen called. They'd heard the truth. Their voices carried steady support. No gossip, no pity, just a line I could stand on. In Idaho Falls, whispers spread where reputations once lived. At the bank, trust cooled around my sister-in-law's smile. At church, Dad's handshake dangled unanswered in the hall. Mom's book club met without her, one chair empty. I changed my passcodes, opened a new account in Boise. I saved Grandpa's statements and call logs. I chose silence over spectacle, boundaries over their theater. Their power ended where my line began, and I carved it deep. Boise steadied me in ways I didn't expect. Morning runs reset my lungs and quieted the noise. Work felt clean again, numbers that didn't lie or bleed. My apartment held light differently, like it belonged to me. I changed passcodes, opened a new account, locked every door. Not out of fear, out of respect for my future. Grandpa called every few weeks, never pressing, always present. We talked weather, tomatoes, and sometimes the hard parts. He didn't excuse them. He didn't rewrite the night. He just said, "I'm proud of you for choosing yourself." Those words patched something the wine couldn't tear. Aunt Martha texted photos from Sunday dinners. Paper plates, warm faces. "Whenever you're ready," she wrote, "we'll set a chair." I wasn't ready, but it mattered the chair existed. Forgiveness, I learned, isn't a door they walk through. It's a fence I build, with a gate I control. Mom sent one message, "We miss you." No apology, no ownership, just a tug at old strings. I didn't answer. Silence can be a boundary too. Dad never wrote. My brother posted quotes about resilience. The town moved on, but slower for them. On cold nights, I think of that velvet box. How love pretended to be duty and arrived with debt. How I mistook interrogation for care and planning for warmth. I can love my family and still refuse their traps. Both things can be true, and I choose the second. If you're facing pressure wrapped in pretty words, breathe. Ask who benefits when you break yourself to say yes. You're not cruel for closing a door that keeps you safe. Have you ever set a boundary they called betrayal? Tell me your story. I'm listening, and so are others. Walking away wasn't punishment. It was the first honest love, my own. Before saying goodbye, if this story touched your heart, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Don't forget to subscribe for more true family betrayal stories. That reminds us we are stronger than we think.